Have you ever stared at the empty chair across from you at breakfast, heart sinking as you hit 70 and wonder if living alone means surrendering to a slower, sadder fade out of your spark? You're in good company. 43% of women over 75 are flying solo these days, and that quiet isolation? It can rocket your dementia risk by a staggering 31% straight from the latest NIA deep dive. But here's your wake-up lifeline. Ditching just 11 sneaky habits could shatter that gloom, slashing stress, supercharging joy, and unlocking years of vibrant, unapologetic you time. We're countdown crushing from 11 to 1 with real science, simple swaps, and stories that'll hit home. Stick till the end, because that mind-blowing number 1 reveal? It's the game changer no one's talking about, the one that'll rewrite your solo script into pure magic. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. 11. Sitting in the same old chair every day. Number 11. That trusty old recliner in the corner of your living room? It's undeniably cozy, with its soft cushions that seem to hug you just right after a long morning. But here's the surprising truth. By chaining yourself to the same spot day after day, you're unwittingly contributing to a sedentary routine that's far from harmless. According to a comprehensive systematic review, nearly 60% of seniors end up sitting for more than 4 hours straight each day, and this habit can increase their overall risk of mortality from all causes by a staggering 20%. Why does this happen? Prolonged sitting doesn't just pass the time, it actively disrupts your body's natural flow. It starves your circulation, leading to sluggish blood flow that can build up plaque in arteries over time. It stiffens your joints, turning them into rusting hinges that creak and protest with every attempt to move. And mentally, it shrinks your world, fostering a sense of isolation as familiar walls close in and the outside seems distant and daunting. But don't worry, there's a simple, invigorating fix to break this cycle. Shake things up intentionally and watch your days transform. Kick off your morning coffee ritual not in the usual spot, but out on the porch where you can exchange friendly waves with passing neighbors and feel the gentle breeze on your face. Tackle that crossword puzzle at the kitchen table instead, surrounded by the aroma of fresh bread and the changing light filtering through the window for a burst of fresh perspectives. Or head to a nearby park bench for some casual people watching, observing the rhythm of joggers, dog walkers, and families unfolding like a living storybook. Take it from one spirited 75-year-old who made this swap. After rotating her seating spots, she described how her days suddenly felt expansive, filled with new textures and tiny adventures that reignited her curiosity. Give it a try starting tomorrow. You might just feel that inner spark flicker back to life, reminding you that variety isn't just the spice of life. It's the key to keeping it vibrant. 10. Thinking rest equals laziness. Number 10. Ever find yourself guilt-tripping that peaceful afternoon nap, labeling it as nothing more than laziness or a sign you're slowing down? It's a common trap, but prepare for a bit of a shock. Research reveals that seniors who skip out on adequate rest actually face a 30% higher risk of burnout, the kind that leaves you drained and irritable for days on end. On the flip side, incorporating balanced downtime into your routine can slash those pesky stress hormones like cortisol by up to 25%, as backed by multiple studies on aging and recovery. So, what's the science behind this? Rest isn't idleness. It's a vital reboot for your brain's hard-working repair crew. At the cellular level, it combats the buildup of fatigue by allowing your body to clear out toxins, consolidate memories, and restore energy reserves, much like plugging in your smartphone overnight to wake up fully charged, rather than letting it sputter on low battery all day. The good news? You can reclaim this without a shred of remorse. Start by embracing those so-called lazy days with open arms and zero guilt. Stretch out in a sun-warmed hammock and let the birdsong wash over you like a natural lullaby, or curl up with a favorite book, turning pages slowly as the words transport you to far-off places without leaving your cozy nook. Even something as simple as lying back and staring at the ceiling patterns, letting your mind wander freely through daydreams, counts as productive recharge time. Remember, you've spent decades building a life full of hustle and heart. You've more than earned these pauses. Commit to just one intentional reset each week, and you'll likely discover it supercharges the rest of your days, leaving you sharper, calmer, and ready to savor every moment with renewed zest. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, Please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. 9. Watching the news on a 24/7 loop. Number 9. Hooked on that endless 24/7 loop of news channels, doom scrolling through headlines right up until your eyelids droop at bedtime? It's an easy habit to fall into, especially when the world feels chaotic, but yikes, it's taking a real toll. Studies focused on older adults show that those glued to constant news streams report distress levels up to 40% higher than their less immersed peers, all thanks to those relentless adrenaline floods that keep your nervous system in overdrive. This barrage doesn't just inform, it hijacks your brain's comm center, the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, triggering a cascade of worry that crowds out space for joy, turning what should be a relaxing evening into a mental marathon of what-ifs. Over time, it can erode sleep quality, heighten blood pressure, and leave you feeling more disconnected from the simple pleasures that make life sweet. The antidote is straightforward and liberating. Set a firm boundary by capping your news intake at just 15 minutes a day for the bare essentials. The weather, a quick community update, whatever keeps you connected without overwhelming. Then, deliberately unplug and redirect that energy elsewhere. Lace up your shoes for a stroll through the neighborhood, where the crunch of leaves underfoot and the sight of blooming flowers ground you in the present. Tune into your favorite playlist of uplifting tunes, letting the melodies lift your spirits and sync your heartbeat to a gentler rhythm. Or simply bask in the gift of silence, perhaps with a warm cup of tea in hand, allowing your thoughts to settle like dust after a storm. Your inner peace isn't some elusive dream, it's the most important headline worth prioritizing, the one that lets you step back from the frenzy and reclaim control over how your story unfolds, one serene breath at a time. 8. Neglecting sleep like it doesn't matter. Number 8. Ever find yourself waving off those nagging bedtime struggles, thinking, I'll catch up tomorrow? Consider this your wake-up call. Studies show that a staggering 40 to 70% of folks over 70 grapple with chronic sleep issues, from restless nights to full-blown insomnia. And the stakes? Sky high. Poor sleep doesn't just leave you groggy. It doubles your risk for heart disease by disrupting your body's repair processes and spiking inflammation levels. Think of sleep as your brain's elite nightly detox squad. It's when your glymphatic system flushes out toxic proteins like beta-amyloid, the stuff linked to Alzheimer's. Skimp on it, and you're inviting cognitive haze and mood dips. Worse yet, if you're clocking fewer than 5 hours a night, women over 70 see their fall risk shoot up by a whopping 50%, thanks to impaired balance and slower reflexes from sleep deprivation. Treat your sleep like the precious treasure it is. Protect it fiercely. Start winding down an hour before bed by dimming those harsh lights to signal your melatonin production. Maybe slip into a relaxing chamomile tea ritual to ease tension, and commit to that golden 7 to 9 hours of shut-eye. Don't overlook power naps either. A short 20 to 30-minute siesta in the early afternoon can recharge your batteries, sharpen focus, and infuse your days with that vibrant, zesty energy you deserve. 7. Saying, I'm too old for that. Number 7. Do you catch yourself brushing off adventures like zip-lining through the treetops or picking up a paintbrush for the first time, muttering, that's for the young crowd, I'm past my prime? Hold on, here's the eye-opener. Research reveals that a vibrant 55% of people over 45 are diving headfirst into learning brand new skills, from languages to instruments, and it's paying off big time. This kind of mental gymnastics slashes depression risk by up to 30% by supercharging neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to form fresh neural connections well into our later years. It's like giving your mind a resilience upgrade, building a sturdy shield against the creeping fog of cognitive decline, sharper memory recall, and even warding off dementia's shadow. Age isn't a barrier. It's just an invitation to rewrite the rules. Flip it. Shift that inner dialogue from too old to a curious, why not me? And watch doors fly open. Enroll in that lively dance class where salsa rhythms get your hips swaying, lose yourself in the wonder of stargazing under a clear night sky with a telescope in hand, or embark on a hobby-hopping spree. Try knitting one week, bird-watching the next. Remember, those imperfect, wobbly first attempts are far richer than the sting of perfect but unlived regrets. They're the sparks that light up your narrative, turning everyday moments into epic stories waiting to be told. 6. Overloading your schedule with medical appointments. Number 6. Is your calendar a battlefield of back-to-back doctor visits, lab tests, and specialist consultations, leaving you feeling like a pinball in a healthcare machine? It's all too common. Adults over 65 rack up roughly double the medical appointments compared to younger folks, which makes sense given the rise in chronic conditions. But here's the hidden toll. Piling them on excessively drains your energy reserves, cranks up cortisol levels, that sneaky stress hormone, and can weaken your immune response by as much as 15%, making you more susceptible to infections or slower recoveries. Beyond the physical hit, it squeezes out the breathing room for the things that truly nourish your spirit, turning your days into a relentless hustle that amplifies anxiety and leaves little space for laughter or leisure. Health isn't just about checkups. It's a holistic rhythm. Balance. Wise up and create some breathing room by spacing out those essential appointments thoughtfully. Maybe bundle routine ones into quarterly clusters rather than weekly whirlwinds. Then, intentionally weave in joy dates to reclaim your calendar. Plan a sunny post-checkup picnic in the park with a favorite book, or carve out time for a heartfelt chat over coffee with a longtime pal. True wellness blooms in this delicate harmony of care and delight, not in the grind of endless medical marathons. 5. Ignoring small joys because they seem silly. Number 5. Ever dismiss those whimsical urges, like blowing iridescent bubbles on a breezy afternoon or doodling silly sketches, as downright childish, something to outgrow decades ago? Pause and rethink that. Who knew such simple acts pack such a punch? Engaging in lighthearted hobbies like these can skyrocket life satisfaction by 25% among those over 65, according to uplifting studies, by triggering those feel-good dopamine surges that light up your brain's reward centers. It's not fluff. It's a neural counterpunch to the heavy veil of isolation and loneliness that can settle in later years, fostering connections, boosting mood stability, and even enhancing emotional resilience against life's curveballs. These silly sparks remind us that joy isn't reserved for grand gestures. It's woven into the everyday magic we allow ourselves to chase. Indulge. Give yourself permission to lean into the fun without apology. Scatter birdseed on your windowsill and watch feathered friends flock in for a daily spectacle. Grab some paints and transform ordinary rocks into colorful treasures for your garden, or crank up a playlist and porch dance like no one's watching, though they might envy your groove. Follow those playful whims wherever they lead, free as a summer breeze. The bonus. Your unbridled enthusiasm could draw in neighbors for impromptu gatherings or shared laughs. That inner glow isn't just yours, it's a contagious force that ripples out, brightening the world one delighted moment at a time. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. 4. Holding back your opinions in fear of ruffling feathers. Number 4. Are you constantly biting your tongue and swallowing those unspoken words just to maintain a fragile sense of peace in your conversations? It's a common trap, but here's the shocking truth. Embracing authenticity in your interactions can dramatically slash anxiety levels by a full 20% among seniors, according to recent studies on emotional well-being. Why? Because when you speak your mind honestly, it triggers the release of oxytocin, the body's natural bonding hormone, that fosters deeper, more genuine connections with others, ultimately freeing up a tremendous amount of pent-up emotional energy that you've been carrying around like an invisible weight. On the flip side, those bottled-up thoughts don't just fade away. They ferment over time, brewing a potent cocktail of resentment that erodes your inner calm and strains your relationships from the inside out. But fear not, there's a simple, empowering way to unleash this without causing chaos. Start kindly, with warmth and wisdom. Share those light-hearted laughs over shared memories. Offer gentle critiques wrapped in care, like suggesting a pinch more salt, please, during a family meal. Remember, at this stage in life, you're the sage, the one whose experiences hold quiet authority. Speaking your truth doesn't divide. It builds lasting bridges of trust and understanding that enrich everyone's world, including your own. 3. Skipping movement because of aches. Number 3. Imagine the crisp autumn air calling you out for one of those invigorating walks you used to cherish. The kind where the rhythm of your steps synced perfectly with the rustle of leaves and the easy flow of your thoughts. But lately, those nagging joint gripes, the subtle twinges in your knees or the persistent stiffness in your hips, have whispered convincing lies that it's all too much trouble now, leading you to shelve those once joyful outings in favor of the familiar comfort of your favorite armchair. It's an understandable retreat, born from a desire to sidestep discomfort in a body that's earned its share of battle scars. Yet, brace yourself for a revelation that's as startling as it is urgent. A sedentary existence in our golden years doesn't just pause the clock on activity. It catapults the risk of dementia skyward by a jaw-dropping 63%, as illuminated by comprehensive health research spanning thousands of participants and rigorous longitudinal tracking. This isn't hyperbole. It's a stark wake-up call from experts in gerontology and neurology, underscoring how the brain thrives on the very motion we often withhold from it. Delve a bit deeper, and you'll see why movement is far more than mere exercise. It's the body's ingenious symphony conductor, orchestrating harmony across your entire system. Those gentle, purposeful motions serve as a natural lubricant for your joints, flushing out built-up inflammation, easing chronic stiffness, and restoring a fluidity that feels almost forgotten. Simultaneously, they ignite the release of endorphins, nature's own mood elevators, that cascade through your bloodstream, sharpening cognitive edges, bolstering resilience against blues, and infusing your days with a buoyant lift that combats the fog of forgetfulness. Think of it as preventive polish for the mind. Regular activity stimulates neural pathways, enhances blood flow to the brain's memory centers, and even promotes the growth of fresh brain cells, all while fortifying your emotional armor. Conversely, the perils of prolonged inactivity paint a grimmer picture. It's not a neutral stasis but an accelerant for the inexorable rust of aging. Muscles atrophy into shadows of their former selves, balance wavers like a flickering flame, and that vital spark of curiosity and independence dims under layers of disuse, hastening a cascade of vulnerabilities from weakened immunity to a steeper slide into cognitive haze. The beauty of it all? Reclaiming this lost territory doesn't demand Herculean feats or gym memberships that gather dust. It's about easing in with intention, crafting a tapestry of tiny, sustainable habits that weave movement back into the fabric of your routine without overwhelming your body's current rhythms. Start with something as whimsical and effortless as a 5-minute kitchen dance party. Cue up a playlist of those swing-era classics or upbeat tunes from your youth, and let your hips sway while chopping veggies or stirring a pot. It's motion disguised as merriment, reigniting joy in the mundane. On mornings when venturing outdoors feels like scaling a mountain, turn to the treasure trove of free chair yoga sessions on YouTube, where instructors with soothing voices guide you through seated stretches that target those exact ache-prone spots, building strength and flexibility one breath at a time. And weave in those unassuming hourly laps, a leisurely circuit around your living room, hallway, or even the block, pausing to admire a photo or sip water. Mere minutes that accumulate into a powerful counterforce against stagnation. As you persist, a quiet miracle unfolds. Those once insistent aches begin to hush, supplanted by a supple ease that your joints greet with gratitude for the consistent TLC. In their place surges a roaring tide of reclaimed energy, zest that propels you through chores with vigor, sparks deeper engagement in hobbies, and rekindles the thrill of spontaneous adventures. Ultimately, movement reveals itself not as a burdensome obligation but as the golden key to an unbridled, more luminous you, where every step echoes the promise of days brimming with possibility and grace. 2. Eating just for convenience. Easing into the number 2 slot on this revelatory roster of understated threats that can quietly undermine the vibrancy of our later years. Envision those serene, solitary evenings where the glow of the microwave casts a soft light on your kitchen counter, and out emerges a gloriously golden frozen pizza, its edges bubbling with promise and its aroma wrapping around you like an old, comforting blanket. It's the epitome of effortless indulgence in our fast-spinning world, a single-serve symphony of sauce, cheese, and crust that requires no chopping, no simmering, no second thought. Merely the press of a button and a few minutes wait. Yet, this seemingly harmless habit harbors a far more treacherous underbelly. Ultra-processed convenience foods, those mass-produced marvels born in sterile labs rather than sun-drenched fields, laden with a labyrinth of synthetic stabilizers, high-fructose corn syrups, and sodium nitrates that lurk undetected amid the savory facade. These culinary chameleons don't merely fill a void. They're implicated in a sobering 10 to 31% escalation of mortality risks for older adults, a statistic that underscores how what we pop in for, just tonight, can cascade into chronic vulnerabilities over time. Delve deeper into the physiological plot twist. Those camouflaged salts and sugars, artfully disguised as flavor boosters, unleash a cascade of inflammatory responses within your arterial highways, akin to a relentless summer storm eroding the banks of a once tranquil river, gradually thickening the walls with fatty plaques, spiking blood pressure to hypertensive heights, and inviting the specter of strokes or heart attacks that disrupt the steady rhythm of your days. The assault extends beyond the bloodstream. Your gastrointestinal tract, that masterful mosaic of microbes and mucosa evolved for whole, unadulterated fare, rebels against the onslaught of emulsifiers and trans fats, transforming digestion from a seamless ballet into a laborious trudge. Complete with bloating that lingers like an unwelcome guest, constipation or diarrhea that disrupts your routines, and nutrient malabsorption that starves your bones of calcium and your brain of B vitamins. Layer upon layer, this cycle of convenience exacts a stealthy toll on vitality. Mornings dawn with a heavier fog of sluggishness, afternoon energy ebbs into an inexplicable slump, and the simple pleasures, like tending to a hobby or chasing grandchildren across the lawn, fade into exertions that leave you winded and wistful, as if the zest for life has been siphoned away one microwave ding at a time, leaving behind a shell of subdued sparkle rather than the full-throated roar of seasoned resilience. But oh, the transformation is within arm's reach, a delightful detour from drudgery that honors both your time and your taste buds without demanding culinary credentials or endless aisles of exotic ingredients. Ignite the shift with the alchemy of an omelet, that humble hero of haste which unfurls in the blink of an eye. Whisk 2 or 3 pasture-raised eggs in a bowl until they're a frothy cascade of yellow sunshine. Pour into a preheated non-stick pan with a swirl of butter or avocado oil for silky glide. Then scatter in a bountiful bounty of garden-fresh veggies. Tender baby spinach wilting into emerald submission for its folate-fueled mood lift and iron to combat anemia's creep. Jewel-toned bell peppers, red and yellow, sliced into vibrant ribbons that deliver a vitamin C surge to fortify collagen and fend off colds. Plump cremini mushrooms, quartered for their meaty chew and prebiotic fibers that nurture your gut's bacterial brigade, all crowned with a pinch of turmeric for its golden anti-inflammatory whisper or chives snipped straight from the soil for a zing of green onion essence. Fold it over with a flick of the wrist, slide onto a plate, and there you have it. A portable powerhouse that digests like a dream, stabilizes blood sugar for sustained pep, and wraps your senses in layers of crunch, creaminess, and subtle earthiness that processed proxies could never mimic. On days when the stove feels like a distant ally, embrace the poetry of the plate with sun-ripened tomatoes. Those ruby orbs of summer's legacy have crosswise to reveal their juicy, seed-flecked hearts, arranged artfully beside a crusty heel of sourdough or atop a bed of peppery arugula, then anointed with a liquid gold of extra virgin olive oil whose polyphenol patrol your endothelium like vigilant sentinels. A grind of flaky sea salt to awaken the natural sweetness, twists of freshly milled black pepper for that piquant bite, and ribbons of basil or oregano torn by hand to infuse an herbal aria that evokes lazy afternoons in an Italian vineyard. This isn't mere sustenance. It's a sensory sonnet that quenches thirst, flushes toxins through lycopene's ruby rivers, and restores a rhythmic harmony to your body's inner workings, all while clocking in at zero cook time. To lace this personal renaissance with the warmth of communal threads, orchestrate recipe roundtables with your corner of the world. Summon neighbors for a laid-back liaison on the stoop or via a neighborhood app, where you might proffer your time-tested mapo tofu riff with silky tofu cubes and fiery fermented black beans in exchange for their heirloom apple crisp crowned with oat streusel and cinnamon whispers. Or a breezy farro salad studded with roasted beets, goat cheese crumbles, and toasted walnuts for that nutty, tangy tango. These exchanges transcend transactions. They're tapestries of togetherness, sparking dialogues that meander from ingredient sourcing woes to triumphant taste tests, dissolving the solitude of suppers into symphonies of shared stories and supportive cheers, while gently guiding your grocery cart toward the produce aisle's promise. Ultimately, these intentional indulgences transcend the plate. They weave mending magic through the soul's subtle seams, alchemizing hurried bites into hallowed hours of presence, where each forkful fosters forgiveness for past indulgences, gratitude for the now, and a profound reconnection to the body's innate wisdom, fanning the embers of vitality into a bonfire that illuminates your path with unbridled, enduring exuberance. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. 1. Forcing yourself into friendships that don't feel right. And with a crescendo of insight that could recalibrate the very compass of your connections, sending ripples through the relational rivers of your sunset season, we unveil the pinnacle, the unequivocally paramount number 1, a bombshell of behavioral wisdom that challenges the sacred cows of social loyalty and illuminates a liberating light on the shadows of misplaced allegiance. Tenaciously tethering yourself to those ostensibly friendly figures who, after every interaction, leave you feeling as if your very essence has been wrung out like a dish rag, parched and profoundly depleted. It's the insidious inertia of investment, that reflexive reflex rooted in decades of decorum, clinging to faded flames from youth's bonfires out of a cocktail of sentimentality for shared yesteryears, dutiful obligation to the once was, or the sheer vertigo of envisioning an empty slot in your calendar, exacerbated as the inexorable march of time prunes the periphery of our social groves. leaving fewer branches to lean on. Yet, beneath the veneer of civility lies a venomous vortex. These pernicious partnerships, threaded with insidious undercurrents of passive aggression, marathon monologues of misery that masquerade as mutuality, or the relentless redrawing of your personal perimeters into their playground, propel depression risks skyward by an alarming 50% in individuals over 70, morphing what ought to be oases of empathy into outposts of emotional attrition. Conjure the covert culprits in vivid vignette. These spectral social succubi, materializing at coffee clutches or phone check-ins with tales laced in lament, surreptitiously sap your serotonin reservoirs, the ethereal elixir that engineers euphoria, equilibrium, and that irrepressible inner glow, much like a midnight marauder pilfering fireflies from a jar, extinguishing the bioluminescent buoyancy that once lit your laughter and lent lift to your steps, consigning you to a twilight of taciturn torpor. Their lexicon of low vibes infiltrates insidiously, barbs disguised as banter that nick your self-worth, soliloquies of self-pity that demand your undivided devotion without reciprocity, or the tacit tyranny of just this once favors that snowball into servitude, collectively cultivating a fertile field for isolation's insidious ivy to overrun, ensnaring your spirit in a shroud of solitude thicker than the densest December mist, where echoes of estrangement amplify the ordinary into ordeals. The solitude of suppers stretches into abyssal voids, nocturnal hours twist into tangles of rumination, and the mosaic of memories that once multicolored your mind bleaches to grayscale, as this interpersonal undertow tugs you toward a chasm of chronic withdrawal, rendering renewal a relic of bygone buoyancy. Happily, however, the highway to harmony is a highway of hushed heroism, a nuanced navigation that prioritizes your peace with the poise of a practiced diplomat. Eschewing scorched earth splits for a symphony of subtle separations that safeguard your serenity sans the specter of scorn. Initiate the artful exit with empathy as your escort. Compose correspondences or conversations that cushion the corners, such as, "Our paths have intertwined so meaningfully through the seasons, yet I'm finding my rhythm shifting toward quieter shores these days. Wishing you winds of wonder ahead," murmured over a measured missive or murmured in a momentary meetup, then surrender to the serendipity of spacing, thinning the threads by savoring silences in reply chains, artfully authoring alibis for absences like "tied up with a tantalizing new read this week, but let's circle back when the stars align," thereby birthing buffers that burgeon into blissful autonomy, unencumbered by the undertones of unease. Channel this unchained chi toward the constellations that catalyze your core. Cultivate constellations of compatibility in convivial crucibles, like enlisting in an ambling assembly of locals who lace leisurely laps around the lake or leafy lanes, where synchronized strides beget seamless soliloquies on the symphony of sunrises, the quirks of quirky squirrels, or the serendipitous splash of a heron's hunt, birthing brotherhoods through the balm of breath and the bond of benign badinage that energizes rather than exhausts, infusing your itinerary with inadvertent invigoration. Alternatively, a light in the verdant vortex of verdant villagers, those verdant virtuosos of the vole who gather at the crack of dawn with dew-kissed gloves and gossip-ready trowels, volleying not only viable cuttings of voluptuous violas or virtuoso vinca vines but vignettes of victory over voracious voles, the veiled virtues of vermicomposting, or the visceral poetry of petals unfurling under April's gaze, all underpinned by the potion of piping pots of peppermint tea or elderflower cordial that steeps the scene in soothing steam. These are not negotiated necessities but native nexuses that nucleate naturally, like constellations coalescing from cosmic dust, blossoming into bouquets of belonging through bespoke book swaps annotated with asides on autumnal asters, spontaneous soirees amid the strawberry patches where forks fork lightning-quick into fruit-flecked fools, or vespertine voice notes voicing victories over vine borers with a wink and a wisdom. They crystallize as your crowning vitality vinaigrette, a virtuoso vial of vasopressin-vivified vulnerability, endorphin-enriched elation, and the bedrock balm of being beheld in your wholeness. Cherished not as a checkbox but as a chapter in their chronicle, your quirks quilted into their quests. Positively psychedelic, wouldn't you say? The profound pivot of pruning your posse with such solicitous scrutiny, how it transmutes the monochrome of mandatory mingles into a prismatic parade, the hush of hollow hours into harmonies of heartfelt haven, and the quotidian quiver of quietude into a quantum leap of quixotic quality of life, where every exchange echoes with the electric essence of authenticity and the ageless allure of unassailable, uplifting aliveness. And there you have it, our countdown complete, packed with those eye-opening quits that can transform your solo life after 70 into a canvas of pure possibility. From shaking up your seating spots to finally letting go of those energy-draining ties, you've just unlocked a treasure trove of science-backed secrets to brighter days and a bolder you. So, tell me, friend, What's one gem you've learned so far that's already lighting up your mind? Dive into the comments below and share that one thing you're committing to practice in your life right now. It could be ditching the news loop for a sunset stroll or embracing those silly, small joys without a second thought. Your story might just inspire someone else's spark. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more heartfelt hacks to thrive in every golden chapter. Until next time, here's to quitting what dims you and embracing what sets your soul on fire. See you soon.